I don't even know what that is, but
It's the monkey in the Simpsons Hit and Run game.
It's been 20 years, Ewan. I've not played it in a while.
It's always on my mind.
As well it should be. Let's talk about the Simpsons Hit and Run. This has got to be one of the most cult classic, one of the most beloved games of all time that never got a sequel, but keeps getting brought up as a very overlooked gem. Well, not necessarily overlooked in terms of cashing in on it afterwards. Where the hell did this thing go after the original game? If you don't know, Simpsons Hit and Run was very much The Simpsons meets GTA, and is a lot of people's favorite game of their childhood, one of the coolest games that they played, but then what the hell happened to a sequel? Now, we've asked that question for the last 20-odd years. I think it was 2003 when this thing came out. 2003.
Yes, 2003.
2004. And we have an answer, finally. This comes from an interview over on MinMax on YouTube with some ex-Radical Entertainment developers who worked on the original Simpsons Hit and Run, saying that there were actually sequels planned. There was a 5-game deal that was originally pitched for Simpsons Hit and Run after the original game took off, that was then pushed back by Vivendi. There's a few things here to get to, Vivendi being the publisher, but apparently work on the sequel started immediately, and new mechanics for the sequel included towing objects behind you, towing cars behind you, and apparently the developers mentioned that they had a blimp working as well.
I could have ridden the Duff blimp.
You could have been blimping your ass off, and it would have been great. Producer John Melchior said the sequel had airships, we had planes, we had lots to go on. This was going to be a franchise, no doubt in anybody's mind. We had a ton of momentum. There was no momentum lost between the shipping of the original game and the work being done on the sequel. He says that all of the conversations at the time were coming from an offer from the Simpsons side of things, saying that the Simpsons side came back with an offer, 5 games for X amount of dollars. It was a really good deal, and Vivendi said no, even after the success of Hit and Run. He refers to it as Vivendi's biggest crime back then for not capitalizing on the momentum of that game, and he said that that then allowed EA to swoop in and make Simpsons games instead. He says that he doesn't know the specifics as to what happened, but EA were able to come in and get the license, paying $80 million to talk about their games at every level, which I'm going to assume led to the Simpsons game of 2007. It was literally just called The Simpsons game.
And then Simpsons tapped out, and then literally no Simpsons game since. What are you doing, EA?
What are you doing, EA?
Beating me up. I'm the Hamburglar, the Krusty Burglar. You're Homer Simpson as Krusty beating me up. I'm already dead. Why?
The thing is, there's a little bit more to this, but like in regards to the era that we grew up with, you had, and they're not phenomenal games, like Simpsons Road Rage, not a great Crazy Taxi
Simpsons
ripoff.
Wrestling.
Simpsons Wrestling I have a soft spot for because I was a dumb 5-year-old and it was
Virtual
great.
Springfield was a great time.
Virtual Springfield absolutely Fs. That thing was awesome. And there was that skating one, Simpsons skateboarding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that one.
The Tony Hawk
say
ripoff.
yeah.
It was a bad time. I think it was voted at the worst game of that year, like 2002 or whatever. But my overall point is we had a bigger variety of Simpsons games at the time from a bigger variety of companies and talent in general that was then completely table swiped away when EA stepped in, such is the way they seem to approach IP. But yeah, like he says, this $80 million deal meant that EA stepped in and all the Vivendi stuff didn't happen, but Vivendi could have secured that deal if they just went for it in the first place, which is the thing that the developers didn't know the specifics of, but he talks about morale and general energy around the project absolutely tanking because they thought it was a surefire thing, as did everyone who played the original Hit and Run as well. He also says that obviously the idea of a Simpsons GTA thing would have been a goldmine, that's my point of view, but he also says that a medieval Simpsons game was in the works as well from Stormfront, and Stormfront made the Lord of the Rings Two Towers game, which is another iconic, incredible game from back in the day that released alongside a movie or another IP that a lot of people remember very well. Apparently that went sideways as well. So it seems like EA just stepped in and went, all your base belong to us.
You used me, Skinner! You used me! I'm so annoyed about this, man. I love The Simpsons Hit and Run. I cannot believe... I mean, on the one hand, I'm kind of glad that we finally know. We finally have tangible reality of like, oh, a sequel is being made, which, again, is great. But I can't have it. I can't reach out to it and grab it, which is really, really frustrating.
Right now, if you want to play... Because the thing is, Simpsons Hit and Run means so much to the people who grew up alongside it, like us, that when I got my Steam Deck and I finally had access to emulated games, I downloaded Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks and The Simpsons Hit and Run. I think you played Simpsons Hit and Run when I brought the Steam Deck in. It was either you or Dan.
I've got it on my OG Xbox. I'm playing it all the time.
Because right now, I mean, it's obviously the case with licensing stuff from that time. You've got to go back, you've got to remix, get it, get in touch with the license holders, make it work for a new platform before you even get to all the frame rate stuff and faffing with the game and making it work on new systems. But Simpsons Hit and Run is that game. Like, it feels like that thing that you just should do right by and get it on new storefronts. The fact that we're getting Buzz Lightyear of Star Command and all these other random licensings like Toy Story 2.
Banger game, to be fair.
Solid enough game.
At least 5-year-old me would stand by that.
But if companies are reaching out and putting those things on legacy services, then why not make this work? And maybe they don't want to do it because they don't have any other Simpsons game and no other Simpsons iron in the fire. Like you said, The Simpsons Tapped Out is like the only video game at all that is remotely Simpsons based from the last 10 years or so. But EA, what are you doing?
EA, you need to come outside. I need to talk to you about The Simpsons Hit and Run. It's very frustrating. Like, I can't say anything more. Like, I don't even think you need to remaster Hit and Run because when I play that game, it's cell shaded. It still looks fine. Well. There was a really, really good fan remake development project that was doing the rounds. Earlier this year and last year, I forgot the name. He's a really, really cool dude with a mustache. I'm gonna really hate myself and probably be in the comments later to tell you all about.
We'll try and put him on screen.
It was really cool. So that's appreciated. But I genuinely think the original game still holds up so well. Yeah. As a big Simpsons person, it touched my heart. I absolutely adore that thing.
I tell you what, another thing is that like the era that it dropped in, it was 2003. It was at least 2003, 2004.
2003, yeah.
Yeah. It was like right next to, or sorry, just after Vice City and San Andreas, or just before San Andreas, in between the two. My point is that was the boom of the open world crime game, and The Simpsons attempting that was brilliant. We had Jack 2 drop in 2004 as well. And over the years, it became that thing that you don't make an open world crime game because GTA is just going to flatten you. And maybe that's the case, but I feel like now there is zero competition whatsoever. Like the last great open world sandbox crime game that wasn't GTA was Sleeping Dogs, IMO, and that was back in like 2014 or 2012 or something. But I feel like if you did a Simpsons crime game now, it would still work. Like the industry's gone on so long that there's a space.
They need to get it done soon because like the voice actors, like we're kind of at the twilight. It feels we're in the twilight of The Simpsons as a show. It's still airing, but the actors are like getting much older now. I feel like if you're gonna do another Simpsons game, EA, like you have a responsibility, EA.
Well,
to
EA
do this.
That's the thing. They clearly don't care. Like EA are.
Tapped Out makes lots of money still. It's a mobile title with lots of microtransactions, so it's understandable that it's more effort they don't need to expend.
True.
Yeah.
But it's like I mentioned, like I said, there's the Buzz Lightyear Star Command game. We got GoldenEye on Switch. Like that was one of the rarest goose eggs that you could get a hold of because of all the rights that were tied up with Eon and Rare and old Nintendo and whatever. And they made that thing work. And if you can get those things on a modern system, why the hell can't we have Hit and Run? It would make money. I wonder if the amount of discourse around it at the minute at least makes some number crunching person put one of the blocks in a different column for a day.
Every single year we get another viral story about Simpsons Hit and Run, maybe getting a remake or developers who worked on the original game talking about their experiences working on it. So the demand is very much clear there. The nostalgia is so strong. One thing I did want to mention is that, like, while we're bemoaning the lack of Simpsons Hit and Run sequels and new stuff in general, that game's modding community, I need to shout them out. There's a Team Donut mod. The amount of new missions and levels people have made for that game where you can play as different Simpsons characters on PC is amazing. There's one mod that, like, binds the entire world together that you can go in between seamlessly and stuff. Just give it to them. Just give it to them and we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the sequel could have been anyway. Like, if you were going to get in touch with a bunch of fans and help them bring it to life, Sonic Mania style, why not? They already know the game inside out. You might as well do that kind of thing. But either way, we have some resolution. I'll put a video here, hopefully about Simpsons Hit and Run. We've hopefully covered it at some point in the past. Ivan Scott from MoreCulture.com.
My son's a box, damn it!
And we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.